I didn't drink the champagne when we hit our fourth quarter targets. Everyone else popped bottles in the conference room, cheering with plastic flutes. I just smiled and sipped ginger ale. Nobody said anything that day, but the next morning, my nickname was written in Sharpie on the break room fridge. The pastor. My name is Michael Davis. I'm 42 years old. Senior operations analyst, 10 years in the game. Quiet, efficient, good with numbers, better with systems. The guy who fixed everything and bragged about nothing. I didn't get loud, didn't need to. 7 years ago, alcohol almost killed me. Liver failure, hospital bed, cold sweats in a detox unit watching my own hands tremble. I remember the nurse's voice more than anything. You'll either stop drinking or you'll stop breathing. One of those will happen this year. I stopped. No relapses. No near misses. I went cold and stayed cold. Some people need the meetings every day. I just needed silence, stability, structure. I found that in spreadsheets, deadlines, and early mornings. My sponsor used to say sobriety isn't the finish line. It's the floor. If you're lucky, you get to build something on top of it. I did, until I joined Virex. Virex was one of those tech growth darlings that had just raised a Series C. The office had kombucha taps, bean bags, and motivational quotes on glass walls. They used words like tribe and grit and human energy capital. I didn't care about any of that. I wasn't there for ping pong. I was there to fix the back-end scheduling tool they built wrong the first time. It was a good role, high trust, full autonomy, remote flex. I got to work with numbers, not egos. At least at first. It started small. The first Thursday of the quarter, a Slack channel popped up. Number, tequila dash, unity, dash, Thursdays. Someone sent a selfie of our product team doing shots in the kitchen after hitting a sprint goal. Real teamwork tastes like Patron, the caption read. I dropped a thumbs up emoji, then closed Slack. Next Thursday, the same, this time with printed t-shirts. The third Thursday, I got the first direct message. Yo, Mike, you joining this week? We got ginger tequila too. Loosen up. I replied, appreciate it, but I don't drink. No response. People didn't take it personally. Not yet. They just called me dedicated or disciplined, with that tone people use when they don't know if you're boring or traumatized. The nickname started as a joke. The pastor. Not mean exactly, but sticky. By week 5, the name was written on a sticky note above my monitor. I didn't pull it down. I just kept hitting deadlines. When we landed a big enterprise client from Berlin, the VP of sales called it a miracle and handed me the glass trophy during the Friday all hands. Everyone clapped. I nodded. That night, they held a celebration in the rooftop lounge. Premium whiskey, local IPA, all open bar. The email invite said attendance optional, but the subtext was obvious. When I didn't show, someone posted a photo and number, Tequila Unity Thursdays. It was just an empty chair with a place card that read, Michael D. caption, missing, presumed holy. It got 47 emoji reacts. I didn't comment. The intern, Samira, came to me a week later. She'd started tagging along on my project audits. Bright kid. Quiet, like me. She lingered at the end of a call. You're not offended by the stuff in Slack, are you? She asked. No, I said. Why would I be? She looked down. I just think you're the only one here who doesn't try to be funny at someone else's expense. I didn't know what to say to that, so I didn't say anything. She nodded and logged off. The nickname didn't fade. It evolved. The pastor became Reverend Mike in stand-ups. Someone used it during a client pitch, accidentally. I corrected him. The CMO told me, it's a compliment. Shows they trust you. You're like the moral backbone. I didn't need to be the backbone. I just wanted to do the job. My sponsor called one night around 11:40 p.m. Unusual time. You okay? He asked. Yeah, I said. Just tired. You're not tempted, are you? No, I said. Not even close. He paused. Good. Just keep your people close. And if you don't have people, keep your boundaries closer. That stuck with me. A week later, HR posted an internal photo album called Energy in Action, Q1 Culture Recap. There were 84 photos. 4 of them were of me, all at my desk, alone. The rest, bottles, toasts, someone chugging from a mini keg. One photo showed our lead designer asleep under a banner that read, Work hard, pour harder. It got pinned in the general Slack thread with 132 reactions. That night, I made myself a grilled cheese, went to bed early, and stared at the ceiling for almost an hour before falling asleep. They didn't know my story. Not really. They didn't know about the night I collapsed in a Denny's bathroom, shaking, vomiting blood. Didn't know about the 2 friends I'd lost in detox. Didn't know about my dad, who used to drink gin in the garage until he forgot how to come back inside. They didn't know that every time I smelled bourbon, my palms still sweated. They didn't ask, but they were going to know something else soon. They were going to learn how quiet men take notes, how quiet men make copies, and how quiet men finish things when they start falling apart. The Thursday after the Q1 recap photos dropped, someone added a new Slack emoji. It was a cartoon chalice with a white cross. They named it Pastor Approval. People started reacting to my comments with it. Didn't matter what I said. Technical feedback, budget notes, error tracking. Someone always dropped the cup. Sometimes two. Once, 17. When I mentioned in a team channel that I'd updated our automated audit workflow to flag ghost entries, someone replied, "Blessed be the blessed backend." That one got pinned. I didn't say anything. Didn't report it. Just documented it. During our April town hall, the new head of people said we needed to invest in vibe consistency. Her slide deck used phrases like cultural synergies and energy-matched hiring. She smiled while saying we had to filter out low-momentum personalities. Then she pointed to a bar chart showing engagement rates across departments. My division had the lowest emoji per message ratio on Slack. Someone coughed behind me. Someone else laughed. I kept my hands folded. My fingers didn't twitch. The offsite invite came a week later. 3-day coastal retreat. Mandatory attendance. Team building, brand alignment, creative free flow. Theme: pour into each other. The cover photo on the invite was a champagne bottle exploding. I considered saying no, but HR already logged my absence from the Q4 celebration as optional disengagement. I knew what saying no would mean, so I packed my bag and booked the flight. At check-in, they handed me a welcome bag. Inside, branded flask, hangover kit, and an itinerary with drink pairings next to each team activity. My name tag had a smiley face sticker on the corner. I didn't ask why. Later, I'd learn they put that on everyone who was dry to help the bartenders know not to serve us by mistake. I kept it in my pocket. The room assignment hit harder. Double occupancy. 1 bed. My roommate, Jared, 28th social strategist, loudest guy on Slack, first to comment on every tequila post, known for ordering shots and truths at team dinners. He once got so drunk at a hiring mixer, he pissed in the conference plant and high-fived the receptionist after. I found him already unpacked, barefoot, holding a can of spiked seltzer. "Yo, Pastor Mike," he grinned. "Guess we're bunking?" I nodded. Set my bag down. Didn't say anything. That night at the welcome dinner, someone clinked a glass and shouted, "We can't pour into each other until we pour into ourselves. Raise 'em high." Dozens of glasses went up. I sipped water. Samira was there, sitting with the product team, visibly uncomfortable. Our eyes met. She didn't smile, just a quick nod. The HR director leaned in toward me across the table. "You should do the toast tomorrow," she said. "People like hearing from someone with grounded energy." I just stared at her until she looked away. Day 2, blind trust activity. Partner up, drink 2 shots each, then follow whispered instructions through an obstacle course. I was excused medical notation on my profile. Jared was. He drank 5 shots instead of 2, then vomited in the rose garden and laughed about it during lunch. I helped him to our room, got him on the bed, covered him with a towel so he wouldn't choke if he rolled. When I came back from brushing my teeth, he was already snoring. The smell of sour lime and sweat filled the room. I didn't sleep. Final night, unity dinner, dressed to impress. Everyone dressed in white. Champagne tower at the center of the room. DJ playing retro remixes, flashing lights, social team filming everything. Halfway through the meal, the music dropped. The CEO stepped up to the mic. "Before dessert, a special moment," he said, "because no culture is strong without a little accountability." The HR director stood, walked over, smiled like it was a birthday. Then the projector turned on. Intervention time. A video montage played, clips of staff holding mock serious faces. "Michael, it's time. You've been too dry for too long. The company needs you to hydrate emotionally. Forgive us, for we are about to pour." Laughter filled the room. Then came the final clip, a deepfake of me in priest robes, raising a glass of whiskey while a choir sang "Cheers be with you." Applause. I stood, walked out without a word. Nobody followed. Back in the room, Jared was passed out again. My laptop was in my bag. I opened it, logged into Slack, searched number Tequila Unity Thursdays, clicked Save All. Then I opened the shared drive. The video of the fake intervention was already there, labeled Q2 Bonding Gold Final.mp4. I downloaded that too. Then I emailed it to myself. Twice. One copy to my personal drive, one to a backup account I hadn't used since my first month of sobriety, just in case. The next morning I checked out at 6:02 a.m. Nobody said goodbye. Nobody had to. The offsite ended on a Sunday. By Monday morning, the Slack thread was full of inside jokes, gifs of choirs, mock holy emojis. A new channel was created. #sober is over. It got traction. I didn't respond. I didn't post anything at all. Wednesday morning at 9:15 a.m., I got the calendar invite. Check in on Culture Alignment Conference Room D. No sender listed, just the time. And 2 participants. HR, and head of people strategy. I showed up at 9:12. Conference room D had one chair facing two. The HR director Dana sat on the left, hair tight, nails perfect, folder already open. The new VP of people, Liana, sat beside her, holding a ceramic mug that said, "Vibes greater than resumes." They smiled when I entered. "We appreciate your punctuality, Michael," Dana said. I nodded. "I'm always on time." Liana giggled. "Yes, we know." There was a pause. The kind that comes before things break. Dana spoke first. "We've been reviewing your performance, your engagement, and your alignment with our evolving cultural direction, and..." She opened the folder like it was a children's book. "We believe your journey with Virex has reached a natural conclusion. No shock, no confusion, just silence." I looked at the form. My name, the date, a checkbox for voluntary separation agreement, another for severance disbursement waiver. And below that, non-disclosure agreement regarding all offsite activities, including but not limited to interpersonal dynamics, social integration events, and third-party media. I didn't say a word. Liana took a sip from her mug. "I want you to know this isn't punitive. We value what you've brought to Virex, but sometimes, Michael," she leaned forward, lowering her voice like a secret, "being overly grounded can start to weigh down a space. Our people need elevation." I said nothing. Donna slid a branded folder across the table. "There's a severance offer included. It's generous. 1 month per year served, plus 3 months of healthcare. But it's contingent on signature." "And silence," I said softly. They both blinked. Liana laughed once, an exhale of forced lightness. "We don't see it that way. We call it clean transitions." I picked up the folder, weighed it in my hands, felt lighter than it should have. "There's no reason to escalate this," Dana said. "You leave quietly. We process cleanly. Everybody wins." That word again. Clean. "Your values aren't toxic, Michael," Liana added. "They're just incompatible with our future." I nodded. That's when Dana smirked, just a twitch at the corner of her mouth. "This is for your peace, really?" I opened the folder, scanned the terms, then closed it. Didn't sign, didn't ask a question, didn't protest, just stood up. "Thank you for your time," I said, and walked out. Number 1 stopped me. No one said goodbye. Just 2 women watching me go, one drinking from a mug about vibes, the other already reaching for the next form. At my desk, everything was untouched. No box waiting, no escort. It was quiet. Too quiet. I powered down my monitor, picked up the 3 things that mattered. My personal notebook, a flash drive, and the framed photo of my niece. Everything else, I left. Slack was still open. The final post in #SoberIsOver was a meme of Moses parting a wine river. Caption, "God said drink." 38 reactions. I screenshotted it, then closed the app. As I walked through the lobby, the security guard gave me a nod. "Off early today?" I nodded back. "Just done." Outside, it was raining, light, steady. The kind of rain that doesn't soak you but reminds you it's there. I got in the car, put the folder on the passenger seat, pulled out my phone, opened a locked note app, entered a 9-digit passphrase I hadn't used in 2 years. Inside was one line: "If they ever touch your sobriety, burn clean." I added 2 words beneath it: "Now begin." At home, I made coffee, black, no sugar, same as always. Opened my laptop, booted a clean Linux drive, inserted the flash drive, files loaded, Slackbot capture.zip, intervention video raw.mp4, offsite alcohol policy.pdf, internal NDA template.docu, incident log.xlsx, everything labeled, sorted, dated, everything saved twice. Then I wrote 1 email to Blake, my attorney. Subject: hostile culture termination. Preliminary evidence, no body text, just the attachments. Then I opened the last file, a message from Samira, sent while I was still in the meeting. They asked me to delete the video. I didn't. "If you want it, I'll send it encrypted. Just say the word." I stared at it for a moment, then typed 2 letters. Yes. That night, I didn't cry, didn't rage, didn't tell anyone what happened, just sat in silence, watching the storm pass over the city like a gray tide. 7 years sober. And tomorrow, I'd be cleaner than ever. I didn't start the next morning with rage. I started it with folders. Manila, digital, encrypted hard copy. Didn't matter. I'd lived a life where order saved lives, where structure replaced temptation, where control wasn't about power but survival. This wasn't revenge. This was math. Blake called at 8:43 a.m. sharp. I didn't speak first. "You're calm," he said. "I've had a lot of practice. You want to talk or act?" "Both," I said. "But in that order." I laid it all out for him. Dates, names, Slack logs, video archives, performance reviews, policy contradictions, screenshots of the intervention. Then I sent him the file from Samira. She'd encrypted it, Exactly as promised. Blake called back 4 minutes later. I need to ask this clearly, he said. Is this what you want? No, I said. It's what they chose. Later that day, I went for a walk. Not to clear my head. My head was already clear. I walked back to the hotel where the offsite was held. Same carpet, same lobby piano, same stale lemon water. I spoke to the night manager. Explained I had a billing question from a company retreat last month. He remembered us. Your group was... He trailed off. Energetic. I asked if the hotel ever kept camera footage. He smiled. For liability, yes. 30-day auto-delete. I thanked him, then asked a different question. Is anyone from your team willing to speak? Off record? His smile faded. He asked if I was the guy who didn't drink. I nodded once. He scribbled a number on the back of a receipt. Back at home, I loaded the video Samira had sent. Raw, uncut, unedited footage of the intervention from 3 angles. One wide, one mobile, one from the DJ's GoPro feed. Multiple faces visible, names, titles. Some of them miming drunken preaching, others laughing with champagne flutes raised in mock prayer. One executive can be seen mouthing, "Let's break the pastor tonight." The file was time-stamped, internal, archived, metadata intact. I uploaded it to a secure vault. Blake had access. So did I. So did no one else. That night, I opened the employee handbook. Buried on page 47 was the clause I remembered. Alcohol may not be served, consumed, or provided at any mandatory Virex event, except where fully compliant with local licensing laws and authorized in writing by the head of risk. There was no such written authorization in the offsite materials. I knew, because I'd saved all of them. Samira called the next evening. She sounded nervous, but steady. They're editing Slack history, she said. They can't, I replied. I made a local backup. They're also scrubbing the shared drive. HR's running audits, pretending it's about storage capacity. I smiled, not because it was funny, but because it was predictable. They're scared, she said. They should be. I submitted the formal EEOC claim 2 days later. Title VII, violation, discrimination based on perceived disability, retaliation for failing to engage in social norms unrelated to performance. Blake filed it under whistleblower protections, citing Virex's own policies. Then we sent a copy of the internal documents anonymously to an advocacy group that specialized in hostile work culture and substance abuse retaliation. No names, no threats, just facts. Facts that would ask questions no PR team could answer. Friday morning, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, then played it on speaker. It was Liana. Michael, I think we may have misunderstood some dynamics. I'd love to discuss options, just when you're ready. I forwarded it to Blake. He sent back a single text. Don't respond. Saturday, I drove out of the city. No destination. Just needed to feel the road underneath me. Passed by a church parking lot with a banner that read, "It's not about vengeance. It's about voice." I didn't believe in sign, but I smiled anyway. That night, the intern, Samira, texted me one line. They offered me a promotion today. I waited before replying. Then I asked, "Did you take it?" Her reply came with a screenshot. It was a public post on LinkedIn. I declined the offer. I believe in accountability, not advancement built on silence. It had 2,000 likes by morning. The wind was changing, and I hadn't said a single word. The email leaked on a Monday. Not from me, not from Blake. It came from an anonymous Gmail account, sent to 4 journalists who cover workplace ethics and tech sector culture. Subject line, "What a company does after hours is still a company decision." The body included one link to a private drive. Inside that folder, video, 2 bonding gold final.mp4, screenshot, Slack thread from number sober is over, PDF, Virex employee handbook, highlighted in yellow, image, branded flask from the offsite welcome kit, transcript, the quote, "Let's break the pastor tonight." No commentary, no threats, just the truth. By noon, the first tweet had 60,000 impressions. By 3 p.m., the second tweet included Michael's name. I didn't check Twitter. Blake did. So did the reporter from The Verge who called him for comment. He declined. So did I. Samira called that evening. "You're trending," she said. "Do I look good?" She laughed, then paused. "They're holding emergency meetings, human resources, legal, even brand integrity. They've canceled 2 campaigns and pulled the product launch for Q3. I nodded. "Anyone resign yet?" "Not yet. Give it a day." The following morning, I was on the couch reading. Black coffee, 1 ice cube, the same way I drank it 7 years ago. The TV was muted, but I saw the ticker on the business news crawl. Tech company under fire for offsite retaliation scandal. Underneath it, a still frame, champagne tower, blurred faces, projector in the background. They were showing the intervention video. I turned the volume up, muted again. Didn't need to hear it. I already knew what was said. By Wednesday, 3 things had happened. The HR director resigned for personal reasons. The head of people posted a 2-paragraph apology on LinkedIn. A formal investigation had been announced by an independent ethics firm. But the best one came that night. Samira forwarded a screenshot from the internal Slack thread. It was from the CEO. "Let's remember who we are. Let's remember we're a team. This wasn't about alcohol. This was about values. Michael was one of us, and we failed him." I read it twice, then opened the folder where I kept the original Slack thread captioned "God said drink." Some failures rewrite themselves, some don't. The EEOC emailed Blake directly. They'd reviewed the complaint. Based on submitted documentation, they were opening a formal case. "Unlawful retaliation may have occurred," the summary read. May. Blake laughed when he read it. "It's government language," he said. "But you've got them dead to rights." Later that week, a client I'd worked with 2 years earlier reached out privately. Subject line: "You deserved better." They had pulled a 7-figure contract from Virex that morning. No reason given, none needed. I didn't post about it, didn't screenshot the headlines, didn't write a thread. I'd already said everything I needed to say, just not with words. Samira called again. Her voice was steady this time. "They offered me the same position. Again." "What did you say?" "I said I already had a job." "Where?" She paused, then smiled through the phone. "With you, if you want to build something." I didn't answer right away. Just looked around my apartment. Quiet, clean, still. "Yeah," I said finally. "Let's build something. Sober." That night, someone sent me the company's new internal memo. Subject: culture reassessment plus compliance adjustments. It was signed by the interim HR team. One line stood out in bold. "Alcohol is no longer permitted at official functions effective immediately." No apology, no credit, just policy. Sometimes that's enough, sometimes it's more than enough. 2 weeks later, I was in a coffee shop on 7th Street just past noon. I sat by the window, black coffee, 1 ice cube, same table I used to visit after meetings. This time, no laptop, just a paperback, no inbox. A man 2 tables over scrolled through his phone and muttered something to himself. Then he laughed. "Did you see this?" he asked his friend. "That viral offsite video from the Virex cult party?" "Jesus," his friend chuckled. "The priest guy? What kind of HR greenlights something like that?" They kept laughing. Neither of them looked at me, and I didn't offer a word. That night I went for a walk. Cool air, spring coming in slow. Passed by a newsstand with headlines about whistleblower protections. My name wasn't in any of them. Just the company, just the fallout. That was fine. My name had never been the problem. Samira sent me a link to a Google Doc. It was titled, "Not Virex." Inside, a full draft for an ethical consultancy platform built around sober leadership, non-toxic work culture, and asynchronous collaboration. No fake bonding, no offsites, no forced fun. It was good, really good. At the bottom of the page, she had written, "This only works if we build it clean." I replied with a comment. Then we build it clean. I got a recruiter email 2 days later. Subject: "We loved your silence." They were building a leadership team for a company emphasizing values-first hiring. They said my name came up a lot. I declined. I returned to the community hall where I first walked in 7 years ago, sweaty and shaking, thinking I wouldn't survive the week. The coffee tasted like burnt dirt. The chairs still wobbled. The heater still ticked. A man was sitting by himself in the corner, staring at the floor. First time I could tell. I sat beside him, said nothing, just waited. Eventually, he said, "They fired me this morning." I nodded. "What for?" "I said no to something stupid," he said. I smiled. "Good." Later that evening, I called my sponsor. Didn't ask for advice. Didn't unload. Just said, "I made it through something heavy." He paused. "You drink?" "No." "Then you made it." I never replied to Liana's last email. Never responded to the text from the CEO. Never updated my LinkedIn. I didn't need to. Some stories don't need follow-ups. Some battles don't need autopsies. Some wins don't leave footprints. Sometimes the loudest thing you can do is stay quiet and keep walking. That's all for this story. I'll be back with another one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It motivates me to create more content like this.